Good afternoon, my dear students. I am back with another episode of the Hindu News Analysis. We shall discuss today the Hindu dated December 13. Let me take it for granted that you have gone through the newspapers very well so that we can have the best utility of the program. So let us begin. Before that, I would like to request all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once you watch the program, I request all of you to post your positive comments against this program. Your comments will always be taken very positively by us, and my team and I will take them very constructively. That will help us improve the program. Please follow our ICD Kollam and Udyog Seva through our social media platforms. Thank you very much. So once again, I am going to let us begin another day's program. The Hindu dated February 13. Not conceded any territory, says the government. Opposition creating false fake narrative on budget. Here the government is referring to the criticism that India has conceded its territory to China during the commander level negotiations between the armies. And the second, opposition has criticized that this year's budget was a budget by the rich and for the rich. So this was what is the finance minister rebuts. She says that this is a fake narrative of the budget. So not considered any territory, says government. The disengagement on the south bank of Pangong Tso Lake will see Indian troops moving to their post in Chushul and Chinese troops to Moldo garrison. So in the next phase, additional Indian troops will move further down around 40 kilometers to Tara Rongo post and Chinese troops to Dorjo, a senior government official said. Listen, what you need to understand is that there have been skirmishes between the two armies on the eastern border of India ever since April 2020. Army build-up could be seen, and that culminated in the month of June, where the real fight, of course no weaponry was used, but there were bodily engagements, and 20 Indian soldiers lost their lives, and an equal number of Chinese soldiers were also lost their lives. So this has been, it has been for the first time since the 1960s war between the countries that India lost its Jawans in the eastern border. So then immediately India improved its presence in the eastern border, and the armies were face to face. That was not at all a good thing for either the peace either in Asia or for the world peace, because two big armies in the world were facing each other and face to face, and that was never good for any of the countries. So ever since then there have been continuous discussions between the at the diplomatic level, at the political level, and of course at the commanders level. And in the ninth commander level meeting, now the armies have decided to withdraw from their frontline positions. We have to understand that there are three areas of contentions, border contentions between China and India. One was in Ladakh, the other was in Sikkim, the third one is in Arunachal Pradesh. Sikkim was finally, the issue of Sikkim was solved. China finally accepted India's sovereignty over Sikkim, but Arunachal Pradesh, China says it's a part of southern Tibet. We know that Tibet is a part of China, and Ladakh is another area where China has got claims over Indian territories. So these armies and the countries are very careful. So far the border has not been demarcated properly. So we can hope that the governments of both the countries will show strength to finally solve the border issues. The first question is given to you: who among the following succeeds Ghulam Nabi Azad as the leader of opposition Rajya Sabha when the former, meaning Ghulam Nabi Azad, retires on February 15, 2021? Very important question. Rajya Sabha opposition leader. Okay, I have a request from Ms. Khushbu. We shall go by that. My team will work on that, I promise. Yes, it is Mallikarjun Kharge, former leader of opposition, the Lok Sabha. Now he is a member of the Rajya Sabha, and he is going to be the leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge. Very good, very important question. Mallikarjun Kharge to lead opposition Rajya Sabha. Senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge is all set to become the leader of opposition Rajya Sabha as incumbent Ghulam Nabi Azad's terms ends on February 15. Okay, very, very important question. He had been Congress leader of Lok Sabha between 2014 and 2019, but he lost the 2019 elections and he was brought into Rajya Sabha last June. Okay. 15 killed, 13 injured in accident in Virudhunagar fireworks unit. We know that the Virudhunagar district of Tamil Nadu is known for firecracker manufacturing. Shivakashi, all these areas are very well known firecracking manufacturers centers. In one of the worst fireworks accidents in recent times, 15 workers were killed and 33 injured after an explosion ripped through Sri Mariammal fireworks factory near Vembakotai in Virudhunagar district on Friday. These sort of unfortunate incidences continue, and we have to ensure that all these industries work with full compliance to safety norms. Second question is given to you now. When Aizawl, the capital of Mizoram, will be linked to India's railway grid in March, which year? It will become the fourth of the 8 northeastern states to get railway connectivity. So only 3 states in the northeastern province, the northeastern sister states, only 3 are connected to Indian railway grid, and what is going to be the 4th state which will be connected to the grid? That is a question, very important question. Yes, the answers that are pouring in are correct. It is 2023. In 2023 March, Aizawl will be a part of Indian railway grid. Rupees 1000 crore will be spent on Bairabi. Rupees 1000 crore will be spent on Bairabi Sairang railway. This will enable the connectivity to Aizawl, the capital of Mizoram. Railways to connect Mizoram capital by 2023, says the news item. By March 2023, Aizawl will be linked to India's railway grid, making Mizoram the fourth of the 8 northeastern states to get railway connectivity. The statement is issued by Northeast Frontier Railway, said 10,000 crore has been allocated in the year 2021-22 fiscal to be spent on Bairabi-Sarang railway project that Railway Ministry wants completed within the next 2 years. State capital Aizawl is 18 kilometers uphill of Sarang. Regulation light. Self-regulation code for OTT channels must be given a chance to work to foster creativity. This is a topic that we discussed a few times in our previous episodes. We have taken it up as a few regular questions also. We know that OTT means over the top. Over the top services, examples are Amazon Prime, etc. So, government wants to regulate OTT. As a first step towards regulation, OTT channels like Amazon Prime, Sun Next, etc., they were brought under the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. What the Hindu says is that OTT channels must be given a self-regulation option to begin with. We know that the newspapers in India are self-regulated. There is no government regulation on newspapers in India, but it's a kind of a self-regulation. It's called the Press Council of India regulates the newspapers in India. So, self-regulation is the best possible regulation for media, and government should go short of having a regulator in place for OTTs, at least to begin with. That is what the Hindu says. India's internet based over the top streaming services have operationalized a code of self-regulation from February 10. So, when the government put them under the Information Broadcasting Ministry, keeping in mind that that could be the first step towards regulation, on February 10 the OTT channels have made a kind of a self-regulation code. Soon after, INB Ministry announced that it had prepared a set of guidelines and directives for the industry. The inexorable growth of OTT channels has infused creative talent into filmmaking, aided by the absence of overbearing censors and vested interests. So, although it might be argued that it also has a small minority pursuing crass commercialism. Listen, we know that Central Board of Film Certification censors all the movies in India, but all these OTT channels, they come with their own movies. They use the platform, or there is another platform now other than showing through the theaters. Now movies can be shown through OTTs. So that is a new chance, and the TVs, the cinemas can escape censors. It can be more creative, it can be more truth telling, but there are instances where it pursued crass commercialism. So some kind of a regulation is required, but the best course of regulation is self-regulation. That is what the newspaper says. Please read, these are all very important information and points of view which a student of competitive examination must understand. The third question is given to you. The Indian Institute of Remote Sensing is located in. The Indian Institute of Remote Sensing was in the news for the avalanche in Uttarakhand. It is a school of excellence, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing. Yes, let the answers come. I await your responses. I cannot give much time. The time is up. Quickly. The Indian Institute of Remote Sensing is located in. Yes, responses have started coming. A few more are welcome. Okay. The answer is Dehradun. Dehradun is in Uttarakhand. The answer is correct. The Indian Institute of Remote Sensing is located in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Relief operation on in Chamoli. The rescue operation at the Tapovan Hydel project tunnel. The unfortunate incident that we all read. Many people lost their lives and searches are still going on to ensure that even the last life is saved. Scientists from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing Dehradun carried out an aerial survey of the lake. Look, the picture says that a 350-meter long lake is formed after avalanche in Chamoli. Slap sanctions on Myanmar, say UN rights envoy and US. We know the issue in Myanmar. Elections were conducted in 2020 last. The elections were won by Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy. It was a landslide victory and Will Myint became the president, but the powerful military junta in Myanmar was highly displeased, and they alleged that the elections were mostly rigged, and they wanted investigations on the possible rigging of voting, which was not accepted by the National League for Democracy government. They did not pay heed to the military demand, and the military toppled the democratically elected government in Myanmar and through a military coup. And now for next 1 year it is going to be a military ruling in Myanmar. There are street protests every day in Myanmar to bring back democracy in Myanmar. So now the international community has is voicing its concern over what are happening in Myanmar. So you slap sanctions on Myanmar. US has already sanctioned. United Nations Human Rights Investigator for Myanmar urged the UN Security Council to consider imposing punitive sanctions, arm embargoes and travel bans in response to military coup. So UN may soon hopefully impose sanction on Myanmar administration, and that will force the Myanmari military establishment to bring back democracy in Myanmar. Let us see what is going to happen if the United Nations Organization Security Council imposes an embargo, a sanction on Myanmar. That will become all the more important for all our examinations too. Inflation cools to 4.06, IIP rises 1%. The inflation, retail inflation has been a major concern for Reserve Bank of India and the economic managers of the country, but it fortunately cools down to 4%. So that may give room for the Reserve Bank of India to give more interest concessions in the next policy, monetary policy release. So that is a great relief to the general public also. But the worrying fact is that the oil prices are going up, domestic oil prices are going up, and there is no connection between the international price and domestic oil prices. Governments, both the central government and the state governments have to do some giveaways in taxes. If the international prices are slowly going up, there must be commensurably reduction in excise duties and in state VAT, so that public will get relieved. The general public has been going through a very bad patch financially thanks to the lockdown. So the everyday hike of oil prices is something like burning, is something like adding fuel to the fire to common man. Supreme Court upholds validity of e-voting results on winding up of Franklin Templeton funds. This is also something we discussed in the past. Validity of polls results showing a wave of consent among unit holders to the winding up of 6 mutual fund schemes of Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton is a mutual fund. There are 4 schemes were wound up recently, and the Supreme Court is upholding or has upheld the decision of the shareholders to wind up 6 mutual fund schemes of Franklin Templeton. 95% of the unit holders who voted had expressed consent to the winding up of the 6 schemes. The court noted the dispersal of 9,122 crore among the unit holders would continue unhindered. So that is the news. The 4th question is given to you. Mario Draghi, who was in the news recently, is he a nationality of Italy, Austria, Colombia, France or Peru? Time is up. I look forward to getting answers from you. Okay, Anaka has given me her option. Let more options come. Okay, the answer is correct. It is Italy. Mario Draghi, the former European Bank chief. He was the European Bank chief, and now he is all set to become the new Prime Minister of Italy. He was known for bringing back euro during the 2008 financial crisis. So he was the bank chief during that time, and he strongly fought for, took decisions, and that brought back euro back on track. Okay. Former European Bank chief Draghi is set to become Italy's new Prime Minister. With almost all political parties behind him, Mario Draghi entered the final leg in his bid to form a new government or to lead Italy through the COVID-19 pandemic. We must understand that Italy is one of the countries that suffered the most during the pandemic. Italy lost a lot of lives. Draghi has spent the last 9 days assembling a government of national unity to manage the deadly pandemic that hit almost a year ago, triggering a deep recession. So, to fix graver problems, we require professionals. After securing the support, the populist 5-star movement, Draghi has almost all the main parties on board, from leftist to farther right league. Okay. Italy has high hopes for Draghi, dubbed Super Mario, after vowing to do whatever it takes to save the euro's single currency in 2010's debt crisis. The 2010 debt crisis, it started its cracks in 2008 and culminated in 2010. It was during that time the European Bank chief Mario Draghi took actions and saved euro as a currency. The 5th question is given to you. The UN agency, the World Food Programme, has said that more than 4 lakh children in which country is dying of malnutrition? In the war-torn and impoverished country. The war-torn and impoverished country where 4 lakh children have lost their lives, as stated by the World Food Programme. Yes, the answer is Yemen. Very good. The answer is Yemen. UN agencies flagged child malnutrition crisis in Yemen. About 4 lakh children under the age of 5 are in danger of dying of acute malnutrition in war-torn and impoverished Yemen. They said half of those in the most vulnerable age bracket, or 2.3 million small children, are projected to suffer from severe malnutrition this year. The number of Yemeni children in danger of death from lack of food has increased to 4 lakh, an increase of 22% over 2020. So, my dear students, thank you very much. Tomorrow we shall discuss today's newspaper as well as the Sunday newspaper. Come prepared. We shall discuss them in detail, and all the questions that I give every day will be available in the daily Gyan section of Udyog Seva, our mobile application. I request all of the students to give your good rating to our Udyog Seva application, as well as give your rating to our ICD Kollam in the Google. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear students. May God bless. Have a very good day. At 3 o'clock, we will have another session of either mathematics, English or reasoning, and today's class will be available to all, not just to our students. So, thank you very much.